That's the second time I've done that with my microphone muted. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to the second game of the day. We have reached the semi-finals. It is going to be Panathinaikos Esports versus MYRAK. My name is Georgia Troubling Paris, and with me in my company, I have Brody, Gosta, Vernon. Good evening.
Good evening once again, and we're going to be back at it. And I don't know, I'm very excited just to see, the usual pick and bands once again.
So we have
So,
gone into it, and this time there's a lot of ADC action going on. Miss Fortune, Caitlyn, Ezreal, but we have a Kalista that slipped through.
that's one of the few champions you don't want to slip through, especially depending on the comps you can build around it. But Palmer as a revenge pick is going to be very painful.
Let's see. Karma is usually one of these supports that you want to play against Kalista. So let's see what they're going to go for as their ADC. There's a lot of things open. The Tristana again is open. The Lucian again is open. It worked wonders in the previous game. Are they going? Yes, they are going to be locking in the Cho'Gath. So far, picks look very Ardent Sensor meta picks.
Well, you could still run that meta still works. It's not like it just vanished off a cliff somewhere and never to be seen again. Cho'Gath pick is, noticed a lot of Cho'Gath picks at the top lane. To revenge it though, we're gonna be seeing a Gnar. So that's actually kind of like I'd expect that as a counter pick, but it depends how hard the Gnar is gonna be countering Cho in the early game. If he's not able to do that, there's gonna be problems there.
Alright, and we're gonna be seeing the Morgana coming in to assist the Kalista in her laning phase, and of course outside the laning phase. So, like you said, we do have the typical counter to the Cho'Gath, which is the Gnar, but also it's not just a counter to the Cho'Gath. We saw Gnar last week being super strong. So,
Just be painful in general.
exactly. And severe picked for MR. Very, very interesting picks that we have so far. So we have a lane that's severe, Karma versus Morgana and Kalista, and let's see what they're gonna opt to ban on the second rotation of bans.
Oh, like you've got a Morgana and a Callista. That's a painful lane to deal with. So, the Silver Spell Shield, there could be. I haven't seen a pick like that in a long time, but we are going to see Syndra banned here.
So they do have something in mind, and they don't want to be playing against the Syndra, but again, there's so many other things in. Is the Vega gonna be getting banned away? He is gonna be getting banned away. We did see him last week. It wasn't the strongest, but it was creating a lot of pressure because of that cage he has. So it's not necessarily a very strong pick, but it's more of like a dangerous pick where you're like, wait a minute, we don't really want to get caught on that cage because then we might die if we do.
Oh no, that wasn't really playing around him doing a lot of damage. It was playing off his cage and how you can really affect, especially team fights. But I'm actually interested to see if this is a Karma mid, but who knows?
Now that you say it, it could actually very well be. We're not sure what the last ban is, but we're gonna assume that maybe it is also towards the mid lane or probably the jungle. Malzahar
Well, they
is
really
gonna
don't like
be...
mid lanes.
Yeah, exactly. We have 5 bans in the mid lane, and maybe, just maybe, the last ban that we can't see is also a mid lane ban. So you never know. So they are gonna be going in for the Jarvan. He was very, very strong in our last game that we saw and last week. So that is a very nice pick along with all the shields and the speed from the Karma and the Severe. That is a very, very good choice. Are we going to see Kindred here? We did see it banned last game. So are we seeing
Maybe they know
Kindred
something.
back in the meta?
Maybe Zin's been replaced and Kindred is the new
Kindred
thing to pick, and
is
it is
going
going
to
to
be
be
locked in.
Oh dear. I'm very happy to see a new champion. I want to see what's going to happen. Are they going to be playing around this? Because I haven't seen too much of Oriana. That's going to be painful to deal with. They kind of stole that one away from, the Jarvan. They can't have the Jarvan Orianna comp anymore.
Oh my god. Basically, what I think that Kindred gives to the team is that so these Cho'Gath cannot very easily feast someone and get them out of the way. I think both teams have tremendous potential right here, but I'm not sure how you're gonna be engaging with Panathinaikos esports towards the late game. That might be a little bit dangerous.
No, no, a late game Cho'Gath is going to be painful to engage on, and especially at Jarvan, who can kind of, jump in and create so much chaos. And then from the backline throwing in damage, you're going to have Siva and Corki really doing a lot of damage. Whereas now they don't have, as Kallista's a really good pickup, Na's a really good pickup, and Morgana's a good pickup. But combined with the Orianna, I think they're going to be relying a lot on Orianna to be making the picks going into this. So it's a lot relying on, Oriana's backs in this one.
What I think mostly the problem is, again, is the fact that we don't see a lot of engaged potential for power esports, and then on the other side for MR, you have disengaged potential and engaged potential. You have a Corgi with the package, you have Jarvan with the Cataclysm, you have Severe with the ultimate, and Karma with the shields, which could mean disengaged, but it could also mean heavy engage. On the other side, you mainly have disengaged. Like, the only way I can see it work is if you actually take the Morgana, throw it in the fight along with the ball and maybe Zonias or something, and then you have the
And hope.
exactly, and then hope that this is gonna work, and then the Morgana is not gonna die like in the Cho'Gath silence or something. That's where the Kindred comes in, and maybe a Gnar flank, an ultimate on the other side. So this is
I
going
think,
to be very interesting to see.
well, it's kind of hard to say because now MR they have a strong team fight like
Mm-hmm.
potential, especially with the job in that mix. But if you think about it, they're not very early game orientated in terms of this. They're going to have a lot of weaknesses early on, something that Kindred can and Gnar can especially exploit on that. And then you
Oh
have
yeah.
Morgana and Callista in the bot lane.
Mm-hmm.
That's painful to deal with early game. So they have a lot of ways to get ahead of this to, counter that team fight orientated.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to have to be well coordinated around the map. So I'm excited to see this one. I just want to see which way this time. Are we going to be wrong about the early game? Is the team fight comp going to win this time in the early game?
On the other hand, there is gonna have to be some help in that top lane for both sides. You do want your Na excelling in the early game versus that Cho'Gath. You do want the Kindred to be top lane 24/7, getting that Na to the point where they got that Jace last game, and he was literally unstoppable. He could 1v2, he could 1v3. We almost saw him 1v4 at some point. Like, we saw 4 people on him, he killed one, then the other person survived with literally 1 HP away. Like, what is happening there?
No, that's scary, and especially Na's one of those champions. When he gets ahead, he's going to generally stay ahead. He does a lot of damage, and then he has the tankiness in the late game. Cho'Gath does have quite a few people to, munch on, though. That's one thing. There are quite a few squishies on that team besides Na.
So, what would be interesting to see is when the fights start and when the ganks start. Like, when you have that Kindred getting in to help the Na kill the Cho'Gath maybe in the top lane, what happens when the Jarvan is there. And usually before 6, the Jarvan will probably be stronger than the Kindred if he hits the flag and drag.
Well,
So,
especially we even saw that last game
mhm.
with just how quickly he cleared and got to the positions way ahead of the other jungler. So Kindred's also not the fastest, so Jarvan can definitely exploit that.
So we see here that there is a sort of respect on the side of Power Esports as it comes to the bot lane. We do have the Morgana going in with the exhaust and the Kalista with the heal. Whilst on the other side we have the Karma with Ignite, which we usually see when there's a Karma going in the bot lanes is usually looking for blood with the ADC, so we might be able to see that aggression. But on the other side, even if the Jarvan wants to join into the aggression, the shield and the mobility of the Kalista make it so hard for that Jarvan to be able to hit his combo and get into the fight. We might be able to see that mid lane is easier for Jarvan to gank with the Orianna. Like if you can get, and if you can force the flash early game or summoners in general, then she TP's back to lane and then you manage to kill her again, then we might see the Corki get even further ahead. But how do you think we're going to see these team fights going? How do you give points to one team?
I give it straight to MR. Like, as much as I still think the Morgana, the Gnar, the Kalista really hurt, I think at a team fight, they're going to be not so, like, there's not much defense there for them. They're going to be, and Cho'Gath really just is in your face and like, hey, try and take me on or something like that. So they've got a lot, they got a Cho'Gath versus, you know, the squishy lineup. And Gnar is tanky, but you don't want him to really be your front line unless he gets a nice stun ultimate going into it.
Exactly.
So there's not too much you're going to work with. So I'm going to have to just, right off the bat, I'm going to be favoring MR for this one. But I still give the early game 100% over to PAA.
That's what I wanted to say. Power Esports is known to be, in general, a very aggressive team. So they would, generally speaking, use these early-oriented junglers to get their lanes going even faster. I think that's why the Kindred is coming in here. He wants to help the Gnar get super far ahead, unstoppable, like he did last game with the Jace. And then, in case that doesn't work and you have to go late game, Kalista is still there. Orianna is definitely a big mid lane damage that you can have in your mid lane, and then you have the Kindred
you have
that in
three
case...
main damage.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you have the
he
Kindred
can just
that
go
in case
around
you get...
from lane to lane.
Yeah, in case you get engaged on, you pop that ultimate and then you turn around on them. So the only way I can see Pau winning these team fights is playing it more in the defensive way, like waiting for MR to engage them so they can disengage, and while MR thinks, okay, we're going to get a kill here, the Kindred ultimate is getting popped and they turn around on them. Like, this is the only way I might be able to see how Pau can turn around. And you did say you give the early game to Pau, so I'm not going to ask you where you give your early game, but I'm going to ask you why.
It's just the picks. The picks and the way we've seen, you know, this aggressive. The Gnars are always generally aggressive, and then they managed to get a Kalista in there. So that's definitely an extremely strong point. I'm interested. I'm going to give it over with early judgment on the Kindred pick. I don't know what to expect from the Kindred, but I'm definitely going to see Kindred and Morgana in the bot lane doing a lot of work.
Statistically speaking, a severe Karma bot lane is much stronger early game than a Morgana Kalista bot lane, because that severe is going to shove in the lane, and then you're going to have to deal with the Karma poke and the severe poke underneath your tower, which we know that this Black Shield can only block one spell at a time, so it is going to be a little bit painful for the Kalista, which is why you said that the Kindred is going to have to come in and see what he can do in the game to get his team forward. We are almost getting into the game, guys, so don't forget to check our giveaway. Go to the chat and type !giveaway to be able to win a beautiful and very comfortable chair and a lot of vouchers for the ESL shop. So go right now in the chat, type !giveaway, and don't forget to follow the link and take part in all the steps so you have even more chances of winning. And if you would like to join this fund, you only have one more chance, unfortunately. Tomorrow is our last open qualifier, so !qualifiers, and you're going to find out what time, what's going on, what are the teams that join in, and of course sign up for yourself so you can have a chance of claiming this €5,000 prize pool. We are slowly but surely loading into this game, and here we go. Well, we're basically getting into it.
Oh yeah,
What are we expecting to see?
aggression, plenty and plenty of aggression.
Straight out the
Um,
bat.
Straight out the bat, I'm going to say it like with Morgana as an early pick. You're going to try catch somebody off guard. You know, try get an early, really early first blood. But it depends who you find. If you manage to catch out Cho'Gath, you can really delay just how strong he's going to be. And so I'm expecting invades, but I'm not expecting too much from these invades.
We do have a tiny little pause, which actually we're not used to having pauses, but probably some player is experiencing some difficulties, so that's okay. I am really interested to see how the teams are going to start, like, straight out the bat in the game. Like, are we going to see
Running into each other's jungles.
exactly, or are we just going to see like the typical, oh, I'm just gonna run in, leave my ward in your blue buff, in your red buff, and just check out where you're going out from there.
Tail it out as fast as you can before you get caught. Yeah, that's what we're probably going to see, but I'm at least hoping to see some sort of invade. There's not too much to really say from the compositions because we're going to have to see a fight before we kind of see the style that they're going for. But as we're going to get back into it right away.
We're gonna be getting back into the game, and let's see if we're gonna see that aggression we talked about. Power Esports is pinging the top bush, and we have seen this before work with Morgana, where the Morgana goes into the Baron pit, and then the rest of the team is sitting in that bush, and when the Q hits, then everybody goes in. The Morgana is actually gonna follow them around.
Yeah, well, Morgana's going to be your quick early game pick, especially with invades.
Oh boy,
if you can manage to.
Oh, we just missed for so little right there. The slow is gonna land, but I don't think there's any more abilities that are going to land right there. Yeah. That was so close to landing, and it would have been so dangerous for the Cho'Gath.
A quick little sidestep.
Oh,
they went for him.
They continue.
I see Jarvan's playing it safe, though. He's just going to place his thing and walk away. There's the ward that we kind of expected, but now they're going to back off from this?
They most likely are. They're going to leave 3 wards into the jungle of Emma, and the Kama has sneaked into the jungle as well, and they're going to be leaving 2 wards, 1 in the red buff and 1 at the Wraiths. And are they going to be face checking that Kama, which level 1, we have said again that with that ultimate, there we go. She does quite a bit of poke.
She is alone. If she did get caught off guard by Morgana, that could have been the first blood right then and there. So she kind of backed off, got to the tri-bush, and she's hanging around there, still continuing to do this poke. Look at the damage from Karma right away.
And that was without the ultimate as well. Eri does a lot of damage early game, especially on these poke-like supports. There you go. Another Q landed, another chunk of Morgana's health is gone. She's almost at halfway down. She does has 3 pots though, so she's gonna have to burn through them first before we see any real chance of her going down. And we see the first invade. Look where Jarvan is. Kindred is pinging him. They're pinging each other. They know that each other is there, so...
Oh. Well, they kind of guessed where he was starting. So Kindred it's risky to continue being around here, knowing that the Jarvan is around, as you're going to see them trying to engage in the figures.
The flash. Uh-oh, they're going to be turning it around. The Kindred, unfortunately, does not have that red buff to be able to slow the Jarvan, but he is surrounded right here. He does have his flash. He's going to pop the EQ, and he's going to get away without the flash because everybody's backing off.
That's a bit of nerves there. That flash was perfect to just completely disengage that whole thing. And then he could have even turned it around with Orianna coming into it. But Corki was definitely pushing in that lane, just, forcing Orianna to be a little bit more respectful, especially this early on in the game, just to go back to lane.
Exactly. So we are going to see Kindred going towards her red buff right now, and had she have the red buff right there, that would have been a complete different fight, but that's why Jarvan decided to invade the red side jungle. The blue side jungle. Jarvan has been spotted here, and Kama is coming to his aid as well as the Corki. Remember that Kindred has no flash. Karma's gonna flash, Q's gonna land first blood for the Karma, and oh my god, we've said again and again how much damage she does, and there we go. Ignite burned, Q popped, and Kindred popped also. Double buffs for that Karma.
That's what I was just about to say. The last thing you want to do is start giving away more poke and sustain potential to one of the most painful supports ever. So, although they do catch out, but you see Morgana's not able to really do too much, and Kalista can't follow up, especially the wave right there. And look at the top lane. We already see this Gnar poking it out straight away.
Bot lane is going to be super painful right now for the Kalista Morgana side, but the Kindred is heading there. She does want her double buffs back, and let's see if she's gonna be able to take them. She's gonna sneak into that second bush. Well, not yet, but Karma is going to engage, and right now they do see the Kindred. Heal is gonna be popped, and the Q is gonna land on the Karma that doesn't have a flash because she used it last time to take the first blood on the Kindred, and she is gonna get the double buffs back. She said, thank you very much for the transfer. I can continue my jungle clear now.
And that was just the perfect start we even spoke about. Just going on, if the Kindred can start to, snowball these lanes and help, get them ahead, get them away from being under tower all this time, help them get the farm, then they can potentially keep each lane, ahead. She's okay, now this lane's now pushing back now. They can finally get into this. They can breathe, go back, get items. Morgana's just going to be Morgana and just keep throwing her Qs up there, just trying to catch somebody in the snare. And then now she can move on. Kindred can go, get her clear, the jungle, and then try and make a next move on maybe mid now and help them get ahead.
Well, we do see quite a bit of poke going down in the mid lane as well, but look at the top lane. We did not expect to really see this image, did we? Gnar right now is down 15 CS against a Cho'Gath that has not even hit level 6. This is not going as planned in the top lane.
Especially when you ranged versus, Cho'Gath this early on. It's kind of like, it's hard to see how that could have happened, but it's happened. So now you got to deal with it. You got to catch up and try. I think Kindred's going to be trying to make a play, but Jarvan, I have seen this before. Jarvan's been in the right position at the right time, and this wave is fast pushing to Gnar, so you should just really back off quite a bit without a little bit of vision.
20 CS ahead right now for the Cho'Gath, and the Jarvan is heading towards the Kindred yet again. Teleport is gonna be popped by the Orianna in the mid lane to get her back, pushing her lane super fast. And the Kindred has been spotted out and pinged. Look at this image. The Cho'Gath is pressuring the Gnar at this point. You don't see this very often pre-6.
Oh no, definitely. Especially, with Gnar has such good procs right there to do so much damage early on, especially to tanks, and then, scale to the late game. And that just allows Jarvan to actually, stay around mid and not really fear, Gnar coming down to take some position. So that's why we saw him just go toward the blue buff and be like, well, hey Kindred, I'm around here. And now he knows that the blue buff's up and he knows Kindred's going to have to go for it sometime later.
You definitely don't want to be giving the blue buff to that Orianna mid lane who is already harassing that Corki enough. Karma might be getting caught here. The bind is not going to land, and she's just going to blast herself away from all these blue enemies that have ended up in their jungle. Kindred is going to be still in the croc, but look where the Jarvan is on the other side, and that's very important. If he does steal that blue buff from the Orianna, it's going to be quite painful.
Kindred,
that's a 4-man bot lane.
See, that just gives them the go-ahead to take the blue buff. They're like, oh, well, you buy my blue buff. We could just see a mirror image where now Kindred's going to be taking their blue buff, but it's risky now, especially that they've pushed out the wave bot lane. They're going to have to get to it now, and they're going to have to leave Kindred there.
On the other side, Orianna is really pressuring that Corki in the mid lane. He can't really back. Let's see if Jarvan is going to opt to dive that Gnar in the top lane, who is very, very soon going to be turning into mini Gnar, but there is no wave. So he is going to back off, because there is no chance of diving that Gnar with no minion wave.
He was there at the perfect timing, just the wave wasn't there. He knew that Gnar was now Mega Gnar is used, and he's going to be extremely squishy after it's used. So They're trying to make a play, but just not there happen. And look at the bot lane. Look at this root. Look at the damage coming out.
Gonna land. Ooh, so low. The heal is gonna get popped by the Kalista as well. And the exhaust was popped. And there's Orianna is gonna flag him from the back of the tower. The Q is gonna land. The W is gonna land as well. Kindred is there, and the ultimate is gonna be popped on that last hit by the Severe, healing up the whole team. That was a 4-man bot lane, and now Jarvan arrives a tad bit too late.
That was perfect play from Kindred. I think we're starting to see why they started to pick Kindred and why we've actually seen Kindred banned before. Just looking at how the pick orientated works in this bot lane, where she can come in and start denying. But is he going to get out safely?
I'm not
though?
sure. He's going to flash for the Kindred. He's going to get the Kindred. Now they're going to turn Cataclysm onto the Orianna. He's going to pop the stopwatch, but what is he going to do after? Javan is going to jump onto the Morgana, and Sivir is going to take care of that Orianna on the back. Corki is going to finish up the Morgana, and double kill for the Corki, as well as 1 kill for the Sivir, and this could be first blood tower.
I was looking a bit sketchy at first, going straight for the dab without really doing too much poke, but then it just all turned out perfectly once they split everybody up. And here comes Kalista. Should be very wary that the tower's gone down and there's still 4 people here.
Flash on the Kalista. Are they going to be able to chase her? The rocket is going to land. Heal is going to be popped by the Corki. 1 more hit on the Kalista, but no, they back off because they see the Kindred and they're so low.
Well, Kalista was playing that perfectly, doing a lot of damage, just trying to bait Jarvan into getting under the tower before, you know, ripping those spears out and doing a lot of damage. But it's very risky, especially the moment you see 4 people there. You're like, they could kind of dive at me at any time. So that's where the flash came into play. And now they can just get back into lane, clear the vision. You know, they didn't try to take an objective. They were a bit low too. So this could be a fast dragon. They want to risk it.
Well, they can definitely with the Kalista and the Kindred, and also the Corki is back, there is no package, and the Severe is heading towards the top lane, so they do know there's going to be a swap in their bot lanes, and they're taking advantage of the fact that 2 out of 5 of the members of MR are going to be in the top lane with no way of getting in. So that was perfectly played right here by Power Esports.
And that's when you notice, oh dear, the dragon was just taken. We should have really had a little bit more vision going down there. And on top of that, Kalista just pushed out the wave. That's going to go under turret. That's a bit of a lost farm there. But look at the top lane. They are doing the usual swap stuff. So the question comes in, how do they respond? Yes, they do is just say, no, back to bot lane just to continue fighting the Cho'Gath. And the question I want to ask you now is, at what point do you think Cho'Gath is going to become a problem? Because Na hasn't been able to do something. He has caught up in farm, but they're still 0-0.
Kindred is going to be getting caught here. Flag and Drag is going to land and it's going to get popped by the Corki. Ultimate not even used right there. I'm not sure why.
Talk about burst damage.
And now that's a 4-man for the side of Emma. This time Kalista is going to get caught in the Flag and Drag, and the Cataclysm is going to land on top of her head. Ents is going to be going down. Another tower is going to be going down also for the side of MR. So far, this Cho'Gath is doing what he needs to be doing. He doesn't need to be winning his lane. He needs to be going even, and the team fights are going to come his way sooner or later. So as far as he's not super far behind to the point where he needs jungler attention, he is going to be perfectly fine. This is what's happening right now. The rest of MR's team have enough pressure that the Cho'Gath is not needed. But right here, Morgana is going to get engaged on by the Kama, and the Corki is going to get popped. Even though she pops that Ignite on the Corki, the Orianna is there, and Shockwave is up. She's going to be popping it onto the Corki. Corki is running away with 1 HP. So low. But he's going to be taken down by the Kindred, as well as the Herald. And the Orianna is super low and dead to rights right here to the Severe. He's going to be going down. Kindred somehow manages to escape. And here we have as well a 1v1 between the top laners. Nar is going to be turning Mega Nar very soon. That's why the Cho'Gath is running away. Let's see if he's going to want to take this fight. He doesn't though, because the feast is down. And what in the world happened at Herald's? He manages to steal between 4 people.
That just came into play with... I can't explain how perfect the timing was. Somebody got caught... Let's just say you got caught off guard. Morgana's there. Oh dear, she's, you know, overextended, gets caught off. But then in comes the Kindred. who somehow manages to live through that whole fight, pop ultimate, and then, you know, the Rift Herald. I don't know what to say, really, besides just like that. If you want to get ahead in the game and you want to get back into it, this is how you do it.
Take the most important tower of the game, which is the mid lane tower. Here we see the Corki is engaging on the Kalista, but the Morgana is right there. And there is going to be some blows back onto the Corki. Javan is also there. He's going to be clearing out that pink wood. And they are onto that mid lane tower. Exactly what we were saying just now. The most important tower in the game. And MR are doing it. They are onto it. It's the last tower they have of tier 1s left alive.
They could get caught off guard now with Oriana, who's just, you know, throws on the ball, does a bit of damage, and just causes them to, you know, back off quite a bit, delaying that tower. But the farm is there, Kallista's there, but Morgana's going to have to go back. And I think the moment they realize this, they're just going to continue to push the lane, especially with Jarvan coming around from the side and Cho'Gath just continuing to force Na to stay in lane. Like, not fighting each other, just forcing them to just stay there, especially when, you know, they're ahead. You don't really need to try and make these engages.
Okay, let's see where they're gonna opt to go. They are 3k ahead and 4 teams, 4 kills, I'm sorry, ahead right now for MR. And let's see if we're gonna see an engage. Everybody's in the mid lane. Kalista has been popped. The ulti. Morgana is gonna ult the Severe and the Calm on the other side. And Cataclysms is gonna go down, but the Shockwave is gonna hit the Javan while he flashed away from it. Now Morgana is being caught. The Cho'Gath has joined the fight. She's gonna go down as well as the Javan, and now they're chasing the Kindred. Feast is gonna go down onto the Kindred, and Nom, he's gonna go down, but Na has joined the fight, and the Corki is caught. He has to flash away. That is a 1 for 2 in the favor of MR. But Power Esports is hitting the mid lane tower right now.
Are they not done? They're going to keep continuing to push this objective, especially Na was late to that fight. He didn't, he didn't get the but he does the perfect. Just miss it, and that's right away that you should be backing off, especially with the doing a lot of damage.
Oh my god, getting popped in the mid lane. Another chasing onto the Kalista. The flash is going to be popped by the Karma. Can they get them? Heal up, and yes, the Corki is going to get the last blow on the Kalista. Now they're onto the Na, but I'm pretty sure that slow might land the Q. Ooh, almost lands on the Corki as well from the Morgana. And now the roles are reversed yet again. Now MR...
This is just a continuing siege in the mid lane. And now what happened was, now it's their turn to be like, okay, well, we have the power back here, we have the health, we can continue to push this. Now, will we see a response once again?
I think Herald was about to leave his pockets right there, so he had to pop it just to make sure.
Yeah, that's... But the question is, the tower's not there, so this Rift Herald is really going nowhere besides into the Cho'Gath's mouth, so to speak. And now Kindred's just going to be clearing vision in the lake there. They are going to be setting up Dragon. This is going to come up very shortly. And to get back into this game, they're not too far behind. They're only around about 5,000 behind. So if they can pick up this Dragon, they can try to push the objectives, and they can get into this. They can get easily claw their way back into this.
Here we are most likely going to see a fight, and that Oriana does have teleport if she needs to join a fight, which is most likely what we're going to see. This Infernal Dragon is going to be initiated by the side of Emma. The bind is going to miss by the Morgana, and that Cho'Gath is so hella tanky.
Already, and it's 70 minutes in, and you have
beautiful shockwave hitting 2 members of them. Beautiful now to come up. 3 members of Power Esports are down. I'm sorry, from MR are down. 2 members. I'm losing my mind right here. 3 in total. Kindred is gonna be chasing right there, but she didn't pop the ultimate again. This is gonna go down, and now they're onto the Kalista. Kalista's gonna be going down. Nair's gonna be going down as well. And that Oriana is so low. She shouldn't have shot. She's there. She's gonna take down the Corki with her though. Oh my god. 4 for 4 exchange between both the teams.
That was about a 50 health difference between a team ace, almost, right there. Just going straight into that. And, you know, Morgana just came up now, so she couldn't really join the fight, even if she wanted to. And that fight was so... I think Kindred was just waiting. We saw the play by Rift Herald early on. That was really... She saved the ultimate and did a perfect play. But now... saving it now is extremely risky, so that is going to cost them quite a bit.
That was beautiful Shockwave and Gnar combination on the side of Power Esports. That was beautifully coordinated, but I still don't understand why the Kindred has died twice so far this game. Well, she's died overall 5 times, but she's died twice not using that ultimate. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or if you just, like right there, she had so low HP that she could have potentially popped it. So, I'm not sure what's going on.
That could just be a miscommunication or something going into that, bit of the nerves getting in there. But the question I want to ask you now is, you see they are actually clawing themselves back. Even though they're not really winning these fights cleanly, they're still managing to, have one more person, Oriana, alive in that fight. So is this going to be the way, how do they get back into this, is what I want to ask you.
Well, they're not completely out of this, but I'm thinking that if they can do again a really good Shockwave Gnar combination like they did right now, and then they have the Kindred actually using the ultimate right there, like if the Kindred stayed alive in the mid lane, I think that would have been the game turner right there, because the Orianna would have been able to assist the Kindred, and only Severe and Corki were alive, and Orianna does enough damage along with the Kindred who would have gotten the heal from the ultimate to be able to clean up the fight with all the shields and damage they had in between them. So I think trying to force another fight like this is gonna go in their favor, since they have the Siege comp and a Mountain Drake on top. So if they do clean up, they're gonna be able to very easily push down these towers.
Well, that seems to be the name of the game right now, is pushing these objectives in the mid. They do still have the mid tower, so that is a bonus for them. But Siva is going to be doing her usual shenanigans in the mid, and she's very low, so she can't, Oriana can't defend this too much.
I wouldn't want to go close to that Severe either. She does have the heal if she needs to dive as well, so she's going to be happy enough just taking this mid lane tower. It's very important. We can't stress again and again how important it is for the teams to have that mid lane tower. It literally opens the game wide, because you don't have that vision that the tower gives you, which is why we see a lot of wards being placed right in the middle of the mid lane when this tier 1 tower is going down for a lot of teams. Like we see here for Power Esports, is sitting right there in the mid lane, so they can have deeper vision into an actual lane that they've lost their tower. So far it's 3 towers for 1 for the side of MR, and we were thinking that the early game was going to go a different way, but right now they're sitting 5k ahead.
Well, that's where, like, you saw the plays that happened there early on. Kindred was making, a lot of right decisions earlier on, but lately it's turning out to be, the opposite. We're going to see the Jarvan making quite some awesome plays right there, and the Corki dishing out damage, and Cho'Gath, just being that frontline tank, especially able to feast. But just look at him now in the bot lane, and nobody's really responding.
Well, the Gnar is going to be going against him really soon, but we'll see what he can do. He is going to choose to back off right now, as he has pushed the wave where he needs it, and he might actually be joining his team, which is really good to keep that TP after they have pushed the lane. Are they going to go for a 20-minute Baron?
Well, Baron's up in 30
That is the question.
seconds.
Oh, Shockwave is going to be popped on the Karma. So low, almost getting her down. She did have the Severe to pop heal right there and her flash just in case, but that is so much damage. Like, the Orianna right there is showcasing how much damage she can put through. And
also,
that's
that
a
kind
lot.
of forces Karma out of the fight, and that's where you go like, well, we can't really go Baron now, especially when, one of our teammates has to go all the way back and get back into this.
So now Power Esports does have the chance to get into that topside river and clean out all the walls. The Quacky is right there all alone, so he could potentially get caught. Here we go. He does have the package. He's gonna use it and get away. I mean,
Well,
scary stuff right there.
Well, that's where you drop something in your pants when you see that, and then you're going to have to try and run away quickly. But thankfully, he does have the escape, and yeah, they're just going to be clearing vision. You can see them setting up for the Baron right here. And is this the bait, though? This could be... Look at the damage coming up from Orianna, just forcing Corki to once again hop away.
The Severe is very, very far right now, so if they would pick a fight, that would be the wrong one for MR. Now we see finally the Gnar being able to push in the Cho'Gath, so that might actually be the saving grace. We did not expect that. We expected that way earlier into the game than where we see it right now, especially when they're so far behind in gold.
Oh, we expected the opposite. Like, we wanted not to push in Cho'Gath early on, and then, Cho'Gath in the late game come back and be like, well, I'm tanky now. But we haven't seen that. It's been a complete reverse role. But are they looking to trap the Gnar in the bot lane now that he's, pushed away too far? Cho'Gath just stayed on the tower, keeping him there.
That could be the case. That's why the Gnar is trying to run away, and he is gonna face his fears very, very soon. But no?
They call it off?
They call it off, apparently, and they would rather play the Fnatic game in the bush. But check this out. Check out where Power Esports are going. They're like, we know you're in the bot lane, so now we're gonna get the vision in that precious Baron River.
But I think they are gonna get caught off guard. Dancing around the wolves right now.
Q is going to miss from the Morgana. No bindings are going to be landing today, and that Orianna is keeps on putting down the damage really hard. But what Emma wanted is happening, and this tier 2 mid lane tower is going to go down as well. Some damage is going to go down by the Corki. He's going to help away. So basically that's what they want to do. They just want to take the tower and reset. They're playing a siege comp right here, which could also team fight. That's a 2-in-1. What Emma have right here, and with 5k ahead they can make it work whatever way they want. If they want a team fight, they can make it work. If they want a siege, they can also make it work. That Cho'Gath is nowhere near losing that bot lane yet, because he is at that stage where he can 1v1 the Gnar, and then the rest of his team can very easily siege or team fight whatever they pick to do.
Well, that's the thing. They don't really need Cho'Gath to do the main initiation because they have Jarvan, and all this is doing is keeping Gnar out of the team fight. And if there's anybody that's going to be dishing out a lot of the damage or catching somebody off guard, it is going to be the Gnar from the team. So without Morgana or Orianna to really try and catch somebody there, you don't want them to be your front lines because they're extremely squishy, especially against, this Jarvan damage and the Corki throwing the rockets around.
The whole of Power Esports is around that dragon. They really want a third dragon to add to the collection. But Emma say, screw the dragon. We actually want to get this Baron. The dragon is going to get initiated. And let's see if Emma are going to just go for the Baron. They are. The Cho'Gath TP is coming in, and that Baron is going down so fast. I don't think Power Esports can react to this. The TP is going to come down, fight the Gnar. Are we going to have a fight, or are they going to back off? The binding is going to miss by the Morgana, and the Gnar is way too far forward. He's going to get caught by the Jarvan, but the Morgana still is going to save him so much damage onto the Morgana. And they're going to turn back. Gnar turns into Mega Gnar. Gnar on the wall. He's so low. He's going to go down along with the Morgana. Do the severe double kill. The Orianna is going to be going down. Kindred ultimate is going to be keeping them alive, but not for too long. Ace for MR.
Well, Baron OP? No, that was well played from them right there. The coordination from the team coming out there. Popping that plant, jumping into the Baron pit, and then, just sieging it. And you can't respond to that. You saw the Gnar teleport there, but there was no wards around. There was no way to really get back into this. But just look how much damage they're doing to this tower.
He turns into Mega Gnar, and then he tries to get into a fight where he has no right to be in, basically.
There's no damage to follow up.
Exactly.
I think that's the main problem at the moment. Gnar's landing, these very good engagements, just getting people against the wall, but there's no damage to really pop anybody.
Actually, they're just going to be okay with one. They're going to be like, you know what, we have the Baron, let's go back, let's buy, let's refresh our mana pools, and we're going to be coming back and take your second inhibitor later. We're not worried about that.
There's no tower there. You could start. You have a lot to work with now. You're all gonna go recall. You've got technically two AD carries. You can maybe send one of them there risky to take it. You can force another fight around Dragon. You're in the lead now. You're in the driving seat. You're this far ahead. So there's really not much you can do, especially now that the Cho'Gath's just become basically a walking tower.
12k ahead right now for MR, and a bunch of kills. 7 towers to 1. Power Esports has only been able to take 1 tower, and this is the problem that we addressed at the start. They have the disengage, but you can't be disengaging forever, because if you're playing just not to lose, you're gonna eventually lose. And this team has no way of engaging. That Morgana is nowhere near Azonius to be pushed in by the Kalista so she can get something done. Second inhibitor is going to go down completely uncontested. And where does Amar go from here? They're going to probably opt to go for the bot lane side as well.
Well, like they can just do whatever they want. There's no way to really stop this, especially now you're down 2 inhibitors. What that's going to do is force, at least now or somebody else, 2 people to stay in the base to avoid, these super minions doing so much damage. And there's no way they can really push out or get back or take an inhibitor because they only, they've taken 2 towers now, but you haven't taken any of, you haven't taken any inhibitor towers, you haven't taken any of the 3 outer towers. There's not much you can do besides try and defend. Especially, just look at this Cho'Gath just showing like, hey, I'm at a walking tower, so just running around in the bot lane, and now they're just going to continue to siege, trying to get 3 inhibitors down, because somebody's going to have to try and take care of the other 2 at the base there.
Again, if they have to make a last stand here, Power Esports has to make their last stand here and now before the 3rd tower drops, because then when you have double super minions coming from every lane, this is going to get so tough to defend.
Especially when your wave clear isn't as strong, against everybody else. Karma can even wave clear if she has to. So there's not too much pushing going on in terms of, look, they just then hit, excuse my tongue, but they have the Corki to just disengage, get away from there. They have, you see, look how much damage they're almost taking down right there.
They just
so that's going to be Kindred out the fight.
Yeah, they just want to basically... The Morgana ulti is going to be popped. The Gnar ult is going to be popped as well. Redemption going down, but it doesn't matter. Cork is going to be taking down that Morgana, and that Severe might be going down. Also, no, the Kindred ultimate is going to be popped, and they're going to opt to disengage both teams. They're like, fine. MR is like, we're still alive, and we've taken out the Morgana, so now is our chance to get in, take this tower. Cataclysm is going to be going down on that Orianna. Orianna is going to be going down as well as the Kalista, and only Gnar left alive to defend. What can he do? Ignite is going to be going down on him, but he's going to be hopping and skipping away. Kindred, I'm sorry, is alive also. First, Nexus Tower is going to be going down. Second Nexus Tower is going to be going down. They turned onto the Gnar. They want him dead before they finish. Do they want the Kindred as well? I'm losing my mind right here. And GG, well played for MR. They're going to be moving forward to the finals. And holy cows. Yet again, another one of these games. Hold on a minute.
I just, it's kind of like, what can you do in that situation when you're so far behind? Like, there's not too much you can do as a Gnar when once you fall behind. That's the problem with Gnar. As long as he's strong in team fights, but he needs the damage to follow up, and the damage isn't going to come from Orianna, who just gets locked out by Jarvan jumping in, and then Kallista's also been behind, so you can't keep on doing a lot of damage. And that was just perfectly executed 28-minute game right there.
It was just the problem that we addressed from the start. How do you engage with a team that literally has no engage? Like, was that a Braum or an Alistar or a Leona that would assist the Kalista? Like, throwing the Alistar, throwing the Leona, that would have been a so much different case. Like, there would have been that heavy engaged team that you could throw your bolt on and throw a shockwave without having to, like, aim it specifically yourself. But we saw that the problem for Power Esports was that there was literally no engage, just disengage. And you can't play not to lose, because eventually you are going to lose. And that was the case here. So we do have our first finalist of the day. Emma going to be walking straight through the finals for that best of 3. So hang on tight, because we're going to see the next team that is going to join them in that best of 3 finals. So stay tuned. We're going to be going into a tiny little break, and we're going to be back with you in a little bit.